Okay, so for this CTF, I managed to break into the admin's user account. The way I managed to do this was I was just snooping around here. I was just looking, clicked on like the first thing, and I saw that the review was made by the admin's email. So the first thing that popped into my head was, okay, I'm going to copy this, I'm going to stick it in here, and I'm going to try a dictionary attack, because that was the thing we did in the last lab, and I thought, okay, I'm going to try it out. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to use Hydra, but in order to use Hydra, I need to find out what fields to put into the form. So like, for example, here you'll see, I believe it was in this, yeah, you'll see username and password. So these are the fields in the HTTP post form that I need to find. So I was like, okay, I'm going to find them and try to get those so that I can run it. So I'll just run burp suite and capture the request. Okay, I just paused the recording there for a second. I opened it here, I set up burp suite, and I just logged into the multi-juicer with our credentials. And so what I did was I went back here, I logged in, whatever, admin at juice shop, and then you put in anything here for a password, doesn't matter. And so then I started intercepting the traffic. So I tried to log in, so I get this, doesn't really make a difference, and now here's the post request. So this is what I care about. Now I can see that the endpoint here, and this is really important, is rest/user/login. But when I go to find the fields, something like language equals en, but instead like username equals something or password equals something, it's just this JSON, right? So Hydra won't work. I mean, there might be some sort of JSON thing, but we haven't learned it in class, so I figured, okay, I'm going to try something else. Then I saw that you can use this intruder function. So, if you highlight this password, actually, no, first what you need to do is you need to find the request. So the request is here, this post request. You can send it to the intruder. You can fill this out, and you can do add, and then you can go to payloads, and then you can load, and I don't know, I can just go find share sec lists passwords, and then just find the list that I use, which is this one, right? And now what I can do is I can just start the sniper attack. But the problem is that because it's the free version of Burp Suite, it's really slow. So imagine like 10,000 passwords. This might not even yield anything, and I would have to sit here for like forever to figure this out. So I decided not to go with that route. And instead, what I decided to do is I can see that the request, if I go here to this, I can send it to the repeater and I can take a look at it again. I can see that it's using a JSON. So I can just in Python make a little script that sends up a JSON payload. And I can just manually put it in as many times as I want. And so you can see here that that's what I did. I ended up exploring a Docker container later on. I ended up sort of using that instead. But you can see here that if I just do like the link that we were using for the class multi-juicer, and I just do like, I don't need Burp Suite anymore, so I can cancel it out. But if I just do the Python file, it does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is like not the correct answer. If I just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can see that it's wrong. So clearly there was some issue here with this. Even if I made it like HTTPS, it would still just do the same thing. So what I ended up doing was I was like, okay, we ran BWAP on localhost, so maybe if I run the Docker container and do something similar, which is what I ended up doing here from this documentation, maybe then it'll work. So I ran the Docker container, I downloaded it, whatever, and so now it's running on localhost 3000, as you can see here. Refresh it and it'll load up. And so you can change this here to localhost 3000. And now my script starts running. So naturally you have to wait here for a little bit. But while we wait for it to execute, another interesting thing to note was that I ended up finding out that by complete coincidence, if you just do an SQL injection, like the most basic SQL injection that we learned in the lecture, if you just do like something like this, and you just put literally anything for the password, like I'm just spamming my keyboard right now, it just logs you in, and if you look at the account, you're logged in as the administrator. I guess it must be like the first entry in the database or whatever, but yeah, it just happens to log me in as the administrator. But I'll log out for the sake of the brute force attack. Oops. And now we'll go back to VS Code, and you can see password found, admin123. So now if I go here and I say admin123, now I'm logged in. And yeah, that's my CTF.